Hello, and welcome to MindBridge, not just a device, but a bridge between intent and independence.
For millions living with multiple sclerosis, a normal life is out of reach, figuratively and literally. Loss of muscle control inhibits their function at home and at the workplace. Hundreds and thousands of people with ALS and MS need a way to preserve their functionality for as long as they can.
MindBridge addresses this by enabling users to trigger assisted movement outside of clinical settings. Here's a detailed breakdown of how.
Step 1. The user wears a wrist-mounted input band located near one of the hand tendons. This input band captures deliberate pressure patterns produced by small muscle engagements. This allows our system to capture deliberate intention even when natural muscle movement is limited.
The scene is first filtered, then later calibrated to each individual user. Additionally, when the signal is processed, it removes unnecessary inputs from outside stimuli. This will prevent accidental jerk movements that the user may not want and only allow for intentional movements.
The signal is then interpreted by the MindBridge algorithm, which maps user-specific patterns to standardized commands. Now, because this all happens internally, you can use this for multiple different prosthetics.
The command activates assistive output devices, such as a support glove. The glove then performs intended movement, such as grasping, clenching, or lifting, while the user remains fully in control. This allows for repeated movement cycles that can be very beneficial in physical therapy and rehabilitation.
The algorithm provides real-time feedback and user experience data, providing healthcare givers as well as individuals insight on how their condition is going. Additionally, this sustains and promotes long-standing therapy beyond normal practices.
MindBridge doesn't replace therapy, it extends it into your daily life, making the recovery process continuous rather than occasional.
Most assistive devices only pair with one kind of prosthetic, making people buy very expensive prosthetics in order to keep up with new input devices. MindBridge though solves this problem because of its proprietary compatibility layer software. This makes rehabilitation much more affordable and scalable. Multiple sclerosis is far from a niche condition. It affects nearly 1 million Americans, and over 80% experience motor symptoms that interfere with daily hand use. With tens of thousands of new diagnoses each year and no consistent home rehabilitation solutions, the demand for assistive support is undeniable.
MindBridge tested its system in repeated trials to measure how reliably it follows the user's intent. Across 5 trials, it reached an 89% in intent recognition accuracy, 91.2% in correct responses, and an average reaction time of 207 milliseconds, with fewer than one unintended activation per trial. This shows the system responds consistently and stays under the user's control during repeated use.
Moving on to MindBridge's financial plan, we will initiate a pilot deployment phase supported by small-scale grants and partnership funding, totaling to $25,000 and upwards to $50,000. The capital will carry us through early validation, during which we will conduct supervised testing with selected rehabilitation clinics, caregiver-supported environments, and adaptive technology partners that have already expressed interest in assistive accessibility solutions.
Our deployment cost consists of a low-cost wearable band and setup, totaling about $45 per user, while users can purchase a $199 starter kit and $12 a month platform subscription for calibration, tracking, and compatibility update. This margin is reinvested into reliability improvements and pilot programs, and after validation, we plan to secure multi-year partnerships with rehabilitation clinics and caregiving networks, supporting at-home recovery.
MindBridge's exit strategy prioritizes our technology's acquisition by a larger medical company. This will ensure that our platform is elevated, reaching the millions of individuals looking to increase their quality of life, whether it's through infrastructure or prolonged rehabilitation.
This pathway, from initial funding and pilot adoption to a broader integration, shows MindBridge's drive for sustainable growth and creating a true impact in the field of rehabilitation.
As a physical therapist in different setups, outpatient clinic and home care, I'm very impressed by the innovation MindBridge brings to this field. The user-controlled assistive interference can significantly improve rehabilitation by enabling consistent, intentional movement through intuitive software and adaptive hardware. MindBridge delivers an accessible solution with a demonstrated feasibility, and I fully endorse its further development.
With many of our own family members suffering from similar debilitating conditions, MindBridge's mission is simple: to provide care for those who cannot provide it for themselves.
Now, join us and help us build a bridge between intent and independence.